Good morning everyone. I am B.L.Jainth Vaishnav. Today I am going to talk about very modern and powerful security concept called as zero truth network security model. This presentation is a part of our subject cryptography and network security, and throughout the sections we will explain how the zero truth products organizations using the cryptographic methods and continuous verifications. In a world where the cyber attacks and remote works are increasing, zero truth as becoming one of the most reliable model to secure the digital systems. Let's see the introductions. With the basic idea, traditional network security works on a simple belief: if you are inside the organization's network, you are safe and truthfully worthily. Everything inside the firewall and considered as ensured, and only outside world are dangerous. But this concept does not hold truly anymore. Today, employees log in form of homes from airports and form of public and etc. Applications are hosted on a cloud platform, not just in a company data center. The zero truth model completes and changes this mindset. It says never truth always verified. That means the very single access requires, whether a form of a manager in an office or internal using a laptop home, must be verified and authenticated before allowing access. Traditional security fails. Let's understand why the world security moderns no longer longer works. In a past of company build a perimeter based on defense using firewalls and antivirus system. Like building a big wall around a house, you have assumed that everyone inside a wall of is a family. But today scenario, the house has opened the door and windows. Employee connect from the personal de- devices, partners access through the API and cloud servers or outside the company permissions. If a hacker steal one of an employee password, they can hack easily from the network, move around a undetected device. This is the biggest weakness of the traditional modern. One of inside are automatically tested. Zero truth fix this fall by removing the ideas of the automatic truth. What is zero truth? Zero truth is not a product or a single tool. It is a secure physiological introduced by a first research in 2010. It is a goal to protect the digital resources is an environmental where user device and data are distributed everywhere. Zero truth means no one is trusted by default. Not every people's inside the net inside the network. Every connections must be verified throughout the multiple layers such as identity check, devices status and encryption. So in a zero truth network, even if a attacker someone get inside, still needed to pass multiple verifications before accessing anything valuable. Need need for zero trust. let's let's look why the organizations are rapidly adopting in this model. Remote works, cloud computing and model devices has been essentially. However, they also create a new entry points for a cyber attacks. Inside threats or credential thieves are very common. Sometimes the attacks does not even comes from outside. It started from a compu- uh, compiles internal accounts. Zero Trust address these challenges by the threading every request as a potential dangerous. It ensures that only authorized and verified users get access, even if they are using a personal devices or external network. This approach de- determinedly reduced the risk of benches and data leaks. Course of principle: zero truths work based on a five key principles. Verified explicitity is always authorized and authorized based on all valuable data, users can identity, device locations, and behavior. Users least privilege access give user the minimum level of access needed for the role. Assume bench work as if your system already compressed. This mindset increase the vigilance. Encrypt everything. All communications and data must encrypted using a cryptographic protocols like TLS or IPS. Monitor continuous keeping observation network traffic and user activities in real time to detect suspicious behavior. Together, these principles build a dynamic, always on a defined system. Architecture review. A typical zero truth architecture can visualize as a sequential checkpoint, user authentications, police, policy engine, and encrypt access and applications. Here how it's work. Whenever a user try, tries to access applications, the request goes to a authentication system and then to the policy engine that decides whether to allow or decline the access. To prove the connections establishing using the encryption, ensuring the data product end to end. This process happened every time, not just once during the logging, which make it much better order for a attackers to exploit the system. How to authentication work? Authentication is a backzone for a zero truth modern system or use identically proved like a Microsoft Azure or Google identity. They check who the users is the device bringing use its locations and security posters. Zero Truth also relies on a multi-factor authentications or a combine of sometimes like passwords, sometimes you have like OTP or fingerprint. So even hackers steal your password, they can't access the system without the secondary factor. This contains validation sensor that trust is not a statistics but earned everything every times. Key components. The, the zero trust model is built on several important components: identity and access management, control who can access what, device verification, check health and complaints of each device, micro segmentations, divide the network into a smaller isolated sections, encryptions, ensure that conflictations, policy engines and monitoring, enforce security rules and tracks user the behavior. Each component contributes to a strong layer of security architecture. Micro segment in a detail. Micro segment is a key difference of a zero truth. In a traditional network, once you inside, you can use as usually access many system, but zero truth divides the network into a small isolated zones like HR, financial IT, and development. Each zone has its own access rules or verification process. If as attackers benches one zone, they can't move to another without going throughout the new authentication steps. This limits damage and stops the spread of attacks inside the organizations. Technology use. To make a possible zero truth are used several power technologies, TLS, SSLS protocols to encrypt the communications channels, VPN and PKI credential to authorize the devices, MFA tools to strengthen the identity and verification, SIEM secure information event management tools to monitoring the detect and analysis the threats. All these builds are encryption algorithms such as RSA, AES, and SHA for secured encryptions, authentications, and hashing. A real world example, a great real life implementation of a zero truth Google behind graphs. Google developed this model to allow the employees to work secured from anywhere without using VPN. Every connections request at the Google check in real time using identity, device status, and access the policy. One after the successful verification is access granted. The today companies like Microsoft, IBM have also built their own zero truth framework and following the same principle. This provides that zero truth is not just a theory; it's a practical and scalable. Traditional versus zero truth. Let's compare the two models by step by step. Traditional network is security mainly relies on a perimeter protections like a firewalls graduating like a network boundary. Once a user was inside, they was automatically trusted, which made it easily for attackers to move ground if they granted access zero. Trust takes a company different approaches. It assumes no one can is truth worth by default, whether inside or outside the network. Instead of one time login, it continuously verifies instead of user identity, device, and activity traditionals. The model focuses on keeping outsiders and out outsiders out, while zero truthing the focus on skewing the very contenting using the identity checks, encryptions, and least privilege access. In a short, traditional security trust first and verify the latter, but zero truth verification first and trust only after a validations, making it one more affecting more modern clouds based on environments. Cryptography role. Since this topic is part of a cryptographic and network security, it let's focus on cryptographic sides. Zero truth depends on a heavily on a cryptographic for all operations, encryptions, and ensure the confidently digital classification provide authentical and hashing maintaining integrity. Protocol like TLS 1.3 ensure the online communications, while token providing control access applications. Every steps from authentications to data transfer use a cryptographic method to build truth in a truthless environmental. Real cryptographic and techniques actions. Let's assume some specific example. TLS and HTTPS and encrypt the data between the browsers and a server, preventing the AVDS dropping. Digital contradictions, verifying that website or serious you cannot do its genius. Hashing protect logs integrated and verifies that no tampering as across. So behind every secure connections and every trusted have access a cryptographic silence work to maintainly and confidently integrated and authentically. Implement steps. Implementing the zero trust is a journal, not an instant of process. It's just a usual included identity access, understand what needed protections users and derives data and applications. Map data flow, know how the data travel across the organizations, and apply the IAM police. Create a script rule for who can access what, encrypt and authenticate, secure the all communications with encryptions and MFA. Monitoring the continuously use the analytics and AI tools to cheat use unusually patterns. Each stage is strategically the strength of the system moves the organizations close to a full zero and truthfully monetary advantages. Now let's see the highly measure of advantages. Improving the security. Very access in a verified attackers can't move frequently. Data privacy and compliance meet a modern regulation like GDPR. Secured remote works users can safely connect from anywhere. Reduce impact of benches even one of the parties compressed other are remaining the safe. Especially zero truth transformation security from a fixed wall into a small adaptive shield. Challenges. However, adapting zero trust is not without a challenges. It can complex and expensive to the delay at the first. Integrations with legally system is not often difficult because older and network were not will not continuously in verifications. Performance and overhead continuously authentication might slow things slightly, but technical advantages these challenges beginning overcome within the authentications and cloud based on management tool. For further trends, look ahead. Zero trust will be continuous to evolve. The next generation will artificial intelligence and managing the learns to the predict and response to the threats even faster. AI can analyze using the behavior patterns. For example, if a user who normally logs in a form of a Chennai suddenly tries to log in form of another country, the system flags is instantly such as predictive analysis enable the proactive defense and instead of reactive response. Zero trust will be also expand into IoT devices, 5G network, a hybrid cloud system, creating a unfilled intelligence security layer. AI and zero trust. When AI combined with the zero trust, it creates a adaptive security. AI studies normal users' behavior, learns what is typical. If anyone unusually happening like suddenly data downloading at meeting, it automatically triggers alert or block the access. This automation reduces the human efforts and ensure the faster threat and detections. In a sort of AI gives a zero trust eyes on ears, making a continuous awareness and self adjustment. In conclusion part, zero trust security model is a new age approach that assumes no one can should trusted the difficult. It continuously verified every user's device and data flows using the power of cryptographic and authentications and monitoring. Zero trust is already becoming a foundation of the cybersecurity in a modern enterprise in a coming year. It will be backstone of all the secure digital ecosystem, protecting the data privacy and ensuring reliance in network and infrastructure. So, so remember, is today the connection world never truth always verified. Reference I used IBM Zero Trust blocks and Google behind graphs. Thank you.